So, how is everybody? I'm good. I'm good. So, we've got exam on Wednesday, lecture today, and I'm thinking since the exam is on Wednesday, just not having class on Friday. That's pretty much what we've done the last couple of weeks anyway, except for groups that have Globus questions. But I think I'm going to just cancel class on Friday and give you guys an early weekend. That leads us to the competitive rivalry lecture for today. No, I'll provide the Scantrons. Okay, so I'm going to be looking this way more than usual today. I am, but check out my screen. I have no idea, but I can't see very much of anything on this screen, so I'm going to be looking up a little bit. So, as we have been the last several weeks, we're still in this section of the Hamburg model right now. In terms of chapters, we're now on chapter 5, competitive rivalry and competitive dynamics. And the model here is basically that competitors engage in competitive rivalry in order to gain better market position compared to each other through both competitive actions and competitive responses. And all of that results in competitive dynamics and actions and responses taken by all the firms in the market. So we're basically talking about the actions and reactions of various competitors in the marketplace. Another way of looking at this is a model that we're going to look at later today, competitive or market commonality and resource similarity as two ways of looking at the competitive nature of a competitive relationship. The drivers of competitive behavior are going to be awareness, motivation, and ability. Those drivers lead to competitive rivalry, which consists of the likelihood of an attack and the likelihood of a response. The likelihood of attack has to do with things like first mover or late mover, organizational size, product quality. Likelihood of a response has to do with actor reputation and market dependence. So these all lead to outcomes in the form of market position and financial performance. Oops, wrong direction. Which then gives feedback back into the relationship, and the whole cycle starts again. So it's important to determine who and how we compete. Market commonality is one way to determine that, and that has to do with how similar is the demand from customers for your products versus the products of your competitor. And secondly, resource similarity. How similar is the supply of tangible and intangible resources for you and your competitor? That kind of leads you to the question, who do you compete with, and how might you measure market commonality and similarity? Well, I have a suggestion for that. It's this matrix right here. You've got market commonality on the y-axis and resource similarity on the x-axis. And the question is to ask yourself, is market commonality high or low? And is resource similarity high or low? So if resource similarity is high and market commonality is high, you'll see here there's a whole lot of overlap in the competitive position of the two companies. If they're both low, there's very little overlap. So the question that you want to ask yourself first in competitive analysis is how similar are the markets the two companies target, and how similar are their resource bases? So factors, like I mentioned, a lot of animation. Like I mentioned back with the overall 4-square diagram, the level of market commonality and resource similarity leads to competitive actions, either in the form of attack or response. So some of the factors influencing the likelihood of an attack are being a first mover, things like having funds for research and development and gaining loyal customers because you're the first one to make a move in a certain market. Also, being a late mover could be a reason for attack, to move down the learning curve to take advantage of the learning curve that other firms have already gone through, and to lower prices and profits in a certain industry. Organizational size can be a reason for attack. Small firms tend to be big and flexible, or tend to be quick and flexible, and big firms tend to attack other big firms. Product quality can be a reason for competitive attack. Performance, features, flexibility, durability, these other factors, all if you have a superior product in one kind or another, then that also increases the likelihood that you would be in an attack position. And then finally, fast versus slow cycle. Slow cycle tends to provide protection, leads to more of a defensive posture. A fast cycle means reverse engineering and imitation and a lot of reason for attack. Yes?
For the first mover and the late mover, you're saying that those two are more likely to attack, not to be attacked?
Yes.
Okay.
So if as a company you are a first mover, you want to be a first mover, or you want to be a late mover, you want to take advantage of somebody who's already gone ahead of you in the marketplace, that's more of a reason for attack. Instead of attack, going on the defensive, this happens when all firms are subject to challenge. And defensive strategies usually counter these challenges, by lowering the risk of being attacked, weakening the impact of each attack, and influencing challengers to aim their attacks at other rivals. So methods for blocking an attack, alternative technology. So these are reasons and strategies for going on the defensive. If you have an alternative technology, that's a way to block an attack. Introducing new features and models to your products is a way of blocking your attack. Maintaining economy priced options is a way of blocking attack. Enhancing support. Volume discounts to dealers. And signaling to challengers that retaliation is likely. So before I move on to market positioning maps, let me escape out of here for a second. And pull up your case template again. So under the customer and competition section, you'll get to a part of the case template called competitive attack and defense posture. And I want this to be in your own words, and I want you to compare each of those three segments that you've been looking at for you did your customer interviews on three different segments, and then you did a market sizing of one of them. You did an assessment of whether the company that you're looking at in each category is competing on cost or differentiation. Those same three segments, I want you to tell me, first of all, is market commonality and resource similarity high or low? So I want you to think about that company compared to one of its competitors. How similar are the resources? How similar are the markets or common are the markets? And I want you to look at that little 4-quadrant diagram and tell me whether you think the company is in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you're gonna think about each segment of there we go. You're going to think about each segment of those three segments and decide whether your company is in this quadrant 1 here, where there's a lot of overlap between resources and markets, or in quadrant 2, where there's a lot of overlap in markets but not very much in resources. Whether it's in quadrant 3, where there's little overlap in either area, or whether it's quadrant 4, where there's high overlap in resources but low overlap in common markets. So for the case analysis template, I just want the Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, or 4 in this column here, and then I want you to tell me whether your company takes an attack or a defense posture in each of those three segments, and give me a sentence or two of explanation for why you think it's an attack posture or why you think it's a defense posture.
And you said that relates back to which other segment? Or is that all on its own?
These three segments are the same segments that you did your customer interviews on.
Okay,
Make sense?
I think so. So I interviewed 3 different people, and then I'm gonna take it down to the competitive attack, right?
So you interviewed 3 different people and whatever, like, so
I did TVs, fridges, and washers.
yeah, so TV. Say again. What was the second one?
Oh, washer, dryer. And then cell phone.
And phone.
Oh, I think you have that.
Okay. Oops. I'll just leave phone there for now, okay? And we'll put appliances here. So you're going to take those same 3 segments
Okay.
and move them down here.
Okay.
So TV, phone, and appliances. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Other questions about that tool in your case analysis template? Okay. Well, then we go back to the slides and we talk a bit about market positioning maps. So market positioning maps are probably something that a lot of you are already familiar with from your marketing classes. I just want to use them in a particular way here in your strategy analysis. So it's one of the most common ways of comparing competitors in an industry. The key thing here is to have differentiable X and Y axes. So I need X and Y axes that show me how the companies that you're comparing are different from each other. Some common criteria to have as your X and Y axes are price and quality on the same axis, not price here and quality here. If you have price here and quality here, what do you think normally happens? Yep. So price always tends to go up as quality goes up. So I already know beforehand that it's going to be a graph that looks like this. I want information that's not obvious. So price and quality on the same axis, product selection and product features, distribution network, resource bases, business model, and things that make you go, any factor that you think is interesting and novel and is different between the 2 companies you're comparing, I'd like to have that as your axis. So could be a whole lot of different things, but I want it to be something that makes me go, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that difference between the companies before. So here's an example of price and quality on one axis and the number of models on another axis for the auto industry. So you can see here, Porsche and Ferrari, for example, have very few models and very high price and quality. GM and Ford, on the other hand, have relatively low price and quality, and they have a whole bunch of models of cars. And the other companies you'll see here, Hyundai and Suzuki, are specialized in a couple of models, but they also have very low price. And Toyota, for example, kind of is in the middle. They've got a medium price and a medium number of models. So that tells me something I didn't already know about the various auto competitors, as an example. Some ways that you could break up quality in order to be another axis. There's product quality and service quality dimensions. So if you're talking about a physical product of some kind, you could look at operating characteristics, features, flexibility in meeting operating specifications over some period of time, durability, conformance, or the how much things match with pre-established standards in the industry, serviceability, aesthetics, and perceived quality. So any of these, if you wanted to have quality on one axis and price on the other, then rather than just having quality as a general concept, I would like to see it as one of these areas here. So durability or serviceability or perceived quality. So subjective assessment of quality rather than objective. Service quality dimensions. So things that you could split up service quality on to be more more realistic as another axis are timeliness, courtesy, consistency, convenience, completeness, and accuracy. So I've got another system here for taking a look at competitive comparisons. It's called the SCORE competitive analysis. SCORE is an organization, Service Corps of Retired Executives. It's basically retired former business executives that volunteer their time to consult to businesses. And they have a different way of looking at competitive analysis. The cookbook of comparability of assets between competitors. So first thing in this model is to identify competing businesses, then determine key information and sources, and collect information on pricing, benefits and features, size and profitability, brand image, anything else you can think of. And then put it together in a template that looks something like this. So you've got product, price, quality. Instead of having axes on X and Y, you kind of have a big matrix comparing the two different companies with each other. So, or three companies in this case, competitor A, B, and C. And the core business here. And it's also kind of got a SWOT feature to it with strengths and weaknesses. I give this as kind of an alternative example for your own information. What I want you to do in the case analysis template is a market positioning map. So I want you, in your own words, to choose two axes that you can compare your focus company and one of their competitors on. Put the competitors, your company and the competitor, wherever they belong on this map. And then below here, I want you to write why you have placed each competitor where you did on the y-axis, and then another sentence with why you placed each competitor where you did on the x-axis. So it's going to be a map with two axes, two competitors placed somewhere on this map, and then two sentences down here describing why you did what you did. Make sense? Okay. So that is actually the end of my slides for the day. I seem to be getting done earlier and earlier with my lectures. I figured you guys don't mind. Let's discuss just really briefly before calling it a day the concept of resource similarity and market commonality. So tell me again, Elsa, tell me again what company you guys are focused on? Church and White? And I forget, what do they do again? Arm and Hammer, okay, stuff like that. So what is a competitor of theirs that you would look at? Johnson and Johnson. Okay, so do you think that, so if we look at the segment of cleaning products, folks, quiet a little bit, please, thanks. Cleaning products, if we're looking at cleaning products and Johnson and Johnson versus Church and White, is the market commonality high or low? So are the customers that they target largely the same, or are they different customers? The same? And how about their resource bases? Are the two companies very similar in the kinds of resources and competencies they have? Okay, so Johnson & Johnson's bigger, it's got more resources than Church and White. So in those four quadrants that we talked about, oops, there. So we said high market commonality and low resource similarity, right? So that would be category 2. So in your template, you're going to put cleaning products as the segment, and then 2 as the level of market commonality and resource similarity, and then you're going to choose whether you think. Do you think that Church and White uses an attack or a defense posture? Okay, so that would seem to be an attack position. So attack, and the description would be, Church and White focuses heavily on getting their brand out in the marketplace. For this reason, we've decided that they focus on an attack posture, period. Got it? Another group. Eduardo, what's your guys' company you're focused on? Well, I said Eduardo, but Joe, you're sitting next to him too. So AT&T. Okay, so with AT&T, if we were to do a market positioning map, what competitor might we want to compare them to? Verizon. And if I take out a marker here rather than using the screen. Do people see that? Okay. So we got AT&T and Verizon. What characteristics might we compare them on?
Price and then maybe quality of service.
Well, price and quality of service are gonna always go like this. So I need something besides quality on this axis.
I'm thinking like features, but that's all very similar to quality of service. With cell phones, it seems like people don't pay more for what they perceive to be a better service, so even marketing would be integral to it.
So how about we talk about marketing as the other axis? So do you notice any difference in the types of commercials that AT&T has versus Verizon?
Off the top of my head, honestly, I've seen both.
I feel like Verizon's more out there than AT&T.
AT&T.
Verizon.
Huh?
AT&T for attack, right?
AT&T runs, but they both run quite a bit of that.
So
lately they've been pushing more of the cable and other services than the cell phone.
that's a good one. Marketing focus. And we could have products maybe on this side and service, so the actual like phone service on this side. And you said Verizon is focusing more on different kinds of products right now, or AT&T? AT&T is. So how are they on price? Are they pretty similar?
They're pretty similar. Verizon, I think, is a little higher.
Okay, so Verizon, we're going to put here with more focus on the service and less focus on products, right?
Yeah.
And AT&T, oh wait, you said Verizon's a little higher.
Yeah.
So put Verizon here and AT&T here because they focus more on products in their marketing right now. And then just give me an explanation here below. We've placed AT&T on the product side of marketing focus because lately we've noticed that they have had more of a focus on the different products they offer rather than their services in their marketing, period. We've placed Verizon higher on the service end because they focus more on their mobile services, period. And then a second thing here, we've placed Verizon just slightly higher than AT&T on price based on the fact that we've found in the marketplace that Verizon is slightly higher on price, period. And that's it. Make sense? I think those two tools are pretty straightforward. Does anybody have any other questions on them? Okay, then we're done. Get out of here, and I'll see you for the exam on Wednesday. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I know. I had taken a job with T-Mobile.
Huh?
I had traded in from AT&T, and
Uh-huh.
I went to T-Mobile because they offered me more. But then when you go 2 weeks of training in LA, so I was like, you know what? I'll just take the chance. I went, and they wanted me to spend another 2 weeks over there for a management position. And I was in Sterling, and I was like, can't do it. So I had to go beg for my old job back at AT&T as an assistant manager.
Did you get it back?
Yeah, but they gave me a pay raise, and I'm at 14.
Well, that's good. All's well that ends well, but that's a crazy story.
No, I wasn't. But they told me to just drop out this semester. I was like, nah, I can't do that.
No, not when you're so close to the end.
This is my last semester.